thought, but we are all the way through the bans as Malzahar, Jin, and the Gangplank go away on the side of WE, and it is going to be Natalia and Karma taken away once again from Aimee as Vladimir gets through and is snapped up by WE. Amazing J thinking about the Echo, and it would make a heck of a lot of sense, but we switch it over. See whether Civil works out better in the hands of Jin Zhao than it did in Mystic in game number 2.
I'm really surprised that they didn't prioritize the Rek'Sai, leaving her open for a red side rotation.
Well, there is a certain scuttling spider lady, but you did say that Condi should probably insta-lock.
I feel like Condi's going to go towards the Elise. He found great success on it in his series against EDG, being a more aggressive-oriented jungler. And right now, WE looks so much better when they choose to play the early game on 6.15. They just got burned by sitting back playing their style against Aimee, so they need to switch things up.
Well, Aimee are going to switch things up themselves, grab the Echo instead of the Sivir in the last second, and it makes a heck of a lot of sense. It is going to be Avoidless locking away his own champion, as well as Amazing J locking away his, and I like that a lot. And
with the Gnar ban, he has so much liberty and freedom to blind pick that Echo, so we'll see what 957's answer will be. Lissandra was not banned. Something that Team WE like to play is double AP with Lissandra in that top side.
Yeah. WE looking to lock down the bottom lane, and they do so. So Alistair Sivir once again did work out well in the laning phase. No Jin to contend with now, though. Jin Zhao and Road thinking about the Braum-Kog'Maw combination for the pretty easy concussive blows.
I would love this out of Aimee. Again, I think Jin Zhao is such an underutilized threat that you can put him on these hyper carry champions, and he will step up to the pressure and deliver results.
Yeah, his late game threat potential was definitely demonstrated in game number 2.5. The Jin paramount to what Aimee wanted to do, but a very different play style. Can be that artillery. Sit at the back, spit on people.
He's laughing pretty hard.
Yeah. Didn't even think it was a joke, but not bad. But 7 seconds to go. They haven't wavered from these picks. Decided not to lock them in until the last second, but it is going to be Kog'Maw Braum here for Aimee's bottom lane.
And we talked about how, you know, beating WE at their own game on the WE stock standard composition would be a big momentum swing for Aimee going into game number 3. And they pretty much look all giggles across the board.
Yeah.
Whereas on the other side, Team WE, very calm, collected, focused.
You can see Condi and 957 right now. They're just sort of nodding along, not too worried about anything. As Condi, this would be a cool pickup.
Anything aggressive that will give Condi the edge to go on the offensive, I 100% stand behind. If it's through the Nidalee, if it's through the Elise, pick it up.
Yeah, remember, no auto-attack reset on the switching of forms, but definitely a lot of damage if you hit a max-range spear. Of course, hunted targets get taken down extraordinarily fast with that aptly named Q. Now 957 are thinking about heading over to the Shen in order to do battle with the Echo.
The too long didn't read of Nidalee's patch changes actually have increased her jungle speed. She's a bit more fragile and a bit more brittle in terms of her initial clear, but once she has that blue buff, she will maintain full health and is in a very good standing.
Yeah, just rips through the jungle. I think it's about 3 minutes and 15 seconds if I remember Rusty's words correctly. And Bamey, that's why he's come back in, because he's the dragon. We've got Aurelion Sol on the map.
And Aurelion Sol has only ever been played once in the LPL. I know that he's played a lot more globally.
And that was by Otto as well, from Saint.
Exactly. He's played a lot more globally, including, I believe, today in the NALCS as well as in Korea. He's considered kind of the soft counter and answer to champions like Malzahar. And so basically how this works is he's going to clear a bunch of waves, and then he's going to roam around the map. And he's also able to get incremental buy advantages, because very similar to Hecarim and Rammus when they were played in the top lane, he can quickly push a lane and then use his, his E?
Yeah, celestially travel back into lane pretty quickly.
So he can build up quite big advantages and help really push a tempo of a game.
Well, we'll see whether the Aurelion Sol is going to work for Aimee as the coaches shake hands. Let's get into game number 3.5 for WE versus Aimee. here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the rift for game number 3 between WE and IMA. The series is even. We're into what is theoretically a best of 3 from this point onwards. We'll see whether Bamey's Aurelion Sol is going to be able to get IMA towards that match point. He's taken Storm Raider's Surge.
And you know, we had some questions. Why would you switch to Bamey after you just found success with Athena in that mid lane? And it all came to fruition. The Pocket Aurelion Sol pick. Again, this is the second time it will be played in the LPL. We'll see if maybe we can catch CA off guard with a matchup that he's not quite so comfortable with. But like Talia, like Malzahar, Aurelion Sol, one of the strongest pushing champions in the game, especially level 1.
Well, of course, Vladimir struggles a little bit level 1, so it does make sense that they probably want to pick the champion into it. Decided to take a corrupting potion as well, which is quite interesting. Wants to make sure that he can weather the storm.
Again, he's free to do so because he can very quickly get in and out of lane. He's not competing with a teleport running enemy mid laner, so he's free to pick up that potion, sit back, probably shove in the first wave, maybe 2, and then quickly use his E to get him back into good standing.
Yeah, looks like Celestial Expansion going to be taken first here from Bamey.
Just a jerk.
Yeah, no, clears out minions whilst harassing at the same time. It's the 2-for-1 special.
He missed a lot of CS, though.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying. As actually, Otto was very impressive farming with Aurelion Sol. If there was anything to be said about that man, it was his farming ability on the champion. But you can see Condi, he's clearing things out. Going to take down his blue buff and head towards the bottom side at the moment. Ahead by a little bit as far as farming this one out. And Xie just consistently being shoved away. Oh, Jin Zhao getting a lot of damage on the Mystic, actually. As Star Surge procs onto Xie, he just can't do anything.
Just has to wait until this creep wave pushes into him and do his best to CS underneath tower. And with the space and timing that Bamey is creating in the mid lane, he did manage to get a cheeky ward on the Raptor camp. So they do have information about where Condi is.
Well, Condi going to be taking down his red buff very quickly. Mystic and Zero still trying to keep themselves healthy. But it's difficult, especially with Zero only level 1. May actually decide to take Triumphant Roar second. As our Mystic grabs himself some mana back.
Definitely.
Is going to be dodged.
There's no reason to look for a all-in trade with the Headbutt Pulverize combo if Mystic has Spell Shield, second spell.
Yes, very good point. So at least now they'll be able to farm up underneath the turret. Of course, Mystic should be able to get even once more. Condi
so
jumps his way in.
Already a cheeky back has come out of Bamey as Condi's actually looking for a gank on bottom lane. So we'll touch Aurelion Sol in a moment.
Well, there's a headbutt pole. They use it onto Road. The spear is going to land on. Takedown is going to be there. The door blocks a lot of the damage. Flashes at the last minute, but in goes Condi. Can he get enough damage? The heal comes down. Jin Zhao looking for him as there's the knock-up. The flash comes out afterwards, but it is going to be the kill. Going over to the Cogmore. Mystic in a whole host of trouble. Good headbutt from Zero to create distance and flashes his way out. At least WE only lose 1.
And we said that WE would feel pressure to play a faster pace early game, and they are punished.
Bamey uses the E, gets himself in there. The headbutt's going to get him out. And at least Aurelion Sol's unable to find too much.
Yeah, he's got nothing. Great play from IMA, though, to capitalize and to counter gank on Condi, using some cute pathing. You know, he jumps over the blue side wall to see that the buff is still there. So he thinks that he has the jump on a Voidless, that he's beaten him to the punch. Surprise! Jin Zhao and Road able to duke that one out long enough for their jungler to show up.
And Condi is going to come back into the bottom side as Jin Zhao, he actually took his Q. Interesting. But he's got double buffs. This is terrifying. 9 CS in advantage. Mystic with no summoner spells. Same thing to be said for everyone on the bottom side of the map. This is such a great start for IMA. We're ahead by 8,000 gold. But with a composition like this, probably would have been fine if they were a little bit behind.
It's now about how they're going to continue to exploit their strengths, passing a very early blue buff over to Aurelion Sol. We've already seen that Bamey is more than happy to get involved on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah. And has gone back once. Used that Commodore Legend, gets himself back into the mid lane once again, then gets himself down to the bottom lane with it. Would have really liked to get some Darksteel stacks.
It's the one good bright spot for WE is that they didn't give up any kills to Aurelion Sol.
Yep. And Mystic goes back and evens out that farm quite nicely. Recurve bow to the longsword and boots that Mystic was able to pick up, however. So Jin Zhao well and truly in a position of power.
It will get a bit safer on the map, however, the closer that 957 gets to that level 6 stage.
Yeah.
So they just need to hang on. Big eyes, or excuse me, all eyes should really be on Condi right now, though, if he can recover from such a lackluster early start. And it's going to start in the top side.
Well, the spear is going to land. Takedown can come in, but no mana for Condi. As Amazing J still looking to get more work done. A Voidless was there for the counter gang.
And again, the confidence and the mechanical prowess of Amazing J on Echo, keeping him safe, drawing a lot of attention, and continuing to buy up time from Nidalee's, strong point in the game. She's not going to be very effective come late game. She's all about making her presence known early.
Of course, that Runic Echo is still a bit of a spike for Condi, and we'll see whether after that point he'll be able to continue smashing this jungle to pieces and affecting the rest of the map. But right now, WE just in a horrible position. Getting this wave shoved in. That's a Cogmore lane, which is just manhandling WE at the moment.
We talk about how if this game goes past 35-40 minutes, Sivir versus Kog'Maw, you're pretty much acting around W windows. Sivir's Ricochet versus Kog'Maw's Bio-Arcane Barrage.
Yeah.
Kog'Maw becomes invincible or God for 10 seconds.
Well, now Zero looking once again for this gank on the bottom side. Stand United comes in to help this time as Rhodes says, well, they're going to kill one of us. It may as well be me. And Mystic's able to pick up the kill. Nicely played, actually, by Aimee to make sure they minimize losses.
And very well orchestrated and engineered by Team WE. Mystic has all of the potential and all of the power that he can push that wave forward. Instead, he's pulling it underneath his tower. He's forcing Jin Zhao and Road to overextend. He's keeping them safe because they don't have their summoners. And he's putting Jin Zhao and Road in a dangerous situation because they didn't have their summoners. Of course, Road's flash now back up.
Yeah.
So very smart and very well communicated from WE.
However, Aimee were able to steal away the blue buff. They gave it to Amazing J as well, as Condi going to come down here, take the Rift Scuttler for himself. We'll see whether they look towards the Ocean Drake, which has fallen in popularity, honestly, as far as dragons are concerned. And now Amazing J looking to try and get some damage onto 957. Timewinder goes wide, but he gets the shield. And 957's more than happy now with his Spectre's Cowl already built up.
Ocean Drake will mean a bit more for someone like Nidalee than other junglers.
Yeah, good point.
Simply because she has so much mobility, it'll help her stay on the map longer. She also isn't entirely reliant on just placing down the 3 wards because she does have her traps for gathering information and tracking enemy junglers. So the more region she has, the more often she can stay out onto the field, place those traps.
Wow, that was so close as Mystic was able to use the spell shield to stop the concussive blows. Bamey now looking for a possible Commander Legend towards the bottom side, but isn't going to get it. Connie going to turn up, spots Road. Or Road spots him, one of the two.
This is very dangerous, though. He does not have CA to help contest this pink ward.
Yeah, and there it is. He is going to be used. Star Surge still being followed through as Condi not going to get stunned by that one. Slightly mispositioned. Bamey doesn't find too much and heads back to the mid lane.
But definitely the right idea from Aimee to know that they were in a position of power there, having the advantageous back with Bamey on the field and CA in base. They're going to continue to try to pressure this.
Yeah, looking for a teleports coming in from Amazing J, as well as there's 3 members of WE underneath this turret against the 5 of Aimee. Parallel convergence there as Condi gets over to the side looking for Jin Zhao, but the heal's going to come in. Mystic flashes out of the way, but look at that. Aurelion Sol gets the double kill. Celestial Expansion looking for the extra one, but doesn't happen as Aimee get 3 under the tower.
And that's the easiest call of Aimee's life because they know that Shen doesn't have the Stand United, that there is no one coming to their rescue. They get so much gold on the back of that. Not only do they clean up all of those kills, but they take the first blood gold for the tower and then mosey into an Ocean Drake.
Yeah, Voidless and Amazing J going to be able to 2-man this one pretty easily. And it's a 3,000 gold lead now for Aimee. And Bamey's about to pick up that really interesting Hextech item that I never remember the name of because it's like GP1765 thing. Yeah. The thing that's not a Rod of Ages. Builds out of a gun somehow.
Shoots things. That's all that you need to know.
Certainly does.
It means that it's that much scarier to stand anywhere near Aurelion Sol because he's got, you know, orbs flying around him. He's got orbs flying out of him. Just a big cluster of Venn diagram murder.
Mm-hmm. And then yells at you. And that does a lot of damage. Knocks you around a bit. Quite frustrating.
But right now, Aimee in full control and tempo of the game, and Team WE are struggling to keep up. They really have no idea how to deal with the map pressure and presence that Aurelion Sol and a Voidless are applying everywhere.
Yeah, and Xie has to pull every time Star Surge heads towards him. It's very difficult. As WE at least get the inside track here towards the bottom side, Primal Surge can help Mystic out getting a little bit more attack speed.
But it's because Aimee are still a step ahead of them, swapping their duo lane towards the top side and continuing to pressure and siege these advantages.
Yeah.
So WE will pick up a tower, but it's just 1-for-1 in response, and Aimee still have the tempo and map lead, now looking mid to dive.
And there's no pull on Xie as well. I mean, the Stand United comes in, but there's no Shen to turn up. The Chrono Break stops Amazing J tanking the turret, and Aimee will get another one.
And again, anytime that Echo Ultimate is available, it's going to be a free and easy dive, and that's a 2-for-1 special for Aimee.
Oh my goodness, Bamey almost tanking up the turret a little bit too much, but that's a 3-0-1 Aurelion Sol. This guy's huge. The Zero doesn't find the Pulverize.
Making it look calm, collected, and easy.
Mm-hmm.
Team WE, can they stop the bleeding? Are they going to retreat back into their shell, try to hold the waves, and try to gamble on another 5v5 late game? They do have a very powerful composition, something very similar that Aimee had in game number 1. But the difference is that Aimee have the added insurance of that Kog'Maw late game where WE had an Ashe in their single victory.
Yeah. And it's just looking worse and worse. I mean, the fact that Aimee have that Kog'Maw, have all of that power, but are still just able to win in the early game is just terrifying.
How are you supposed to dodge that? He's shooting out cones. He's got flying orbs around him. If he hits you with the cone, you get a slow. It means that you get to sit in his passive that much longer.
It's just a disaster. Celestial Expansion is a silly move. Now Amazing J looking for Mystic. Nice spell shield. And he will be able to clear out the wave very nicely. Essence Reaver not quite done though here for Mystic just yet. He's put very far behind in his items. Still ahead in farm, but 1-0-3 for the Kog'Maw means that he's very comfortable. Aurelion Sol thinking about heading down.
And this is what's genuinely very cool about Aimee as a team, is that yes, they only play one style. Again, it's very high mobility, but they can do it with so many different champions. And to see them kind of pull out this gimmick pick in terms of Aurelion Sol's comfort in the LPL and use it so successfully, I wish they would have done it a bit earlier in their playoff run, but now or never.
Yeah, here's the fight as Voidless does get knocked up. Zero now singled out, but has the Unbreakable Will. He gets stunned up. Nice triumph from Raw, gets some health back. Condi does lock down his red buff.
And they decide to back off of that one. The reason being is because Bamey was actually busy in the top side of the jungle stealing that blue buff that he has now. The other cool thing about Aurelion Sol is that he's able to take down camps very quickly due to his constant AoE damage.
Yeah. He's now going to head back to base, do that frustrating thing where he just soars his way back into Summoner's Rift.
I just think he's such a cool champion. I wish China played more of him.
Well, I mean, this is about as close to more of him as you can get right now, as he's in the game. So we're doing all right. Amazing J, split pushing on the top side. Surprise, surprise. That's a Spectre's Cowl, actually, from Bamey, so wants to get himself a little bit tankier. Possibly a Banshee's Veil to come in for his next item. GLP 800, as it were, still sitting there.
Makes sense that you could look for tanky items. He already does ridiculous amounts of damage if he manages to proc his passive on you. And the tankier he is, the longer he can just sit there and continue to spin those orbs.
Yeah. Just wants to stay there for the consistent threat as opposed to any sort of burst damage.
He's just a big AoE threat and zone control, and he just creates space for Kog'Maw behind him.
We'll see whether it is going to work. I was expecting something like a Rylai's as the next option, something like that, just to make sure that his passive is just as frustrating as possible.
I 100% expect a Rylai's coming out.
Good, good. Not getting it too wrong. Haven't had all that much experience with the old Aurelion Sol.
He's never played in LPL.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Voidless just going to get bopped out of the way. Zero says, no, this is my jungle. 957 fighting Amazing Jay and actually winning for the moment. The Tiamat doing some work. We'll see whether he is going to finish the Spirit Visage or whether he finishes something like a Titanic Hydra for the added wave clear and threat that he could bring to the map.
Right now, though, Team WE in full damage control. They're falling back into their old ways, trying to hold these waves, pick up farm where resources are allowed. And they'll probably give up this jungle, although as I say that...
Oof. Yeah, Mystic, Spell Shield is going to go off as Bamey just commanding the respect. Zero goes down to half health as Mystic does turn up, but the door's there for Road, blocks the boomerang.
Fortunately for Team WE, they are kind of allowed to sit back and farm without much pressure, simply because they've had repeated ocean spawns. Yeah. So RNG, very lucky for them that they're not being punished harder for a very disastrous early game. Although it's Infernal next, so luck has run out.
Exactly. But still a lot of regen now for Aime, who can, like you said, clear camps very, very fast. And now not going to take too much damage from them either. Of course, mana not going to be a problem at the same time. Despite the fact that Condi is on this Nidalee, the speed farmer herself, is still behind a Voidless who's just Rek'Sai. He's got a Tiamat. Just clear things out super quickly. And
we talk about that late game insurance policy of having the Kog'Maw available for Aime, because I feel like WE, they're on an even narrower window in terms of where they can win this game. Yes, you still have the late game threat of the Hemoplague on top of Mystic Sivir, but Condi's really going to fall off on that Nidalee. He's pretty much just going to become a heal bot.
Well, you know, any sort of heal plus Vladimir is pretty silly. But Aime looking to grab at this Rift Herald here at 17.5 minutes in. It's going to go unbeknownst to WE. We're probably happy for the respite, to be honest.
And that opens up the potential to play a 1-3-1 from Aime's composition with the added mobility and safety, as well as the pushing power that Aurelion Sol has, and now the glimpse of the Void buff on Amazing Jay's Echo, as well as the lead he's already built from himself and those 4 assists. They can really start playing with lane assignments and trying to be proactive on the map.
Oh, Shea down here towards the bottom side. 1v2 at the moment, but he's Vladimir, so probably not too worried. And Condi and Zero are going to turn up. Road caught out of position and probably will fall down. Nice triple knock-up as he flashes his way out, stands behind Jin Zhao, and he's safe.
Gets out right before a Voidless and Bamey come to his rescue. Classic Road.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Aime, they're in position. They can start playing with lane assignments, moving around, taking the proactive stance on the map. Road's like, nah, face check.
Yep.
Time to get caught. Burn a flash.
One more time, but does at least manage to get out, so that's good news. Star Surge doesn't find Mystic. He's going to stand there and wait for his wave to turn up. Still wants to get to his items, as Amazing Jay is going to pop over and possibly take a Gromp or get some pressure in this jungle.
They've got the 2-item power spike initially on Kog'Maw. He's got his Wits in, he has his Hurricane. Aime really should be in a position where they start sieging. I would want to see them use that Aurelion Sol ultimate, very similar to how CLG did on the MSI stage.
Yeah.
And just full steam ahead, zone WE off a tower, and just try to burn some sort of objective. I feel like the longer that they kind of hem and haw around the map, the stronger WE are going to get, and the bigger their comeback comes for this game.
Well, they're at the moment just milling about just a little bit. They steal away the blue buff. That is definitely good news. Bamey still very strong. We'll be able to use that Celestial expansion to clear out this wave very quickly. Of course, when Aurelion Sol gets some points into that W, it does just look pretty fantastic watching these creeps die as he misses the last one, making me a little bit upset.
Again, he's got great pushing power, and there's that 1-3-1 that's starting to form on the map. Baron will be spawning in 35 seconds.
WE want to actually grab some vision around the area. They do put down a couple of wards. Zero was amongst it, but Road and Jin Zhao were waiting for any, you know, wandering stake heading towards them. Head back into the mid lane, Jin Zhao looking for that next item. We'll see whether he goes towards the Ginsu's Rage Blade or the Blade of the Ruined King. I personally am a fan of the Ginsu's, but I know that you are a little bit more inclined towards the Blade of the Ruined King.
I understand why Kog'Maw's like the item. It's very fun to watch him turn on his W and just have all of that splash damage just melt through creep waves.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think the Blade of the Ruined King, with all of the on-hit and the shred, especially against the likes of a Vladimir and Shen, as well as the safety it will provide, are just in a better spot, as well as you really bypass the power trough of going through the AEP as well as the attack speed of Rageblade.
Well, of course, you have to build Pickaxe, Recurve Bow, and Blasting Wand to get to a Rageblade now. So you're right, it is a bit of a daunting prospect. I personally, just the fact that you get the Sated Devourer, the old Sated Devourer passive, though.
I know, you're keen on it.
I love it. It's so good.
And you feel like a god once you have it.
Because there's little U's that come out of you to hit stuff again. It's just great. Okay, I'm a little bit too excited. But 5,000 gold is still the lead here for IMA. WE have done a good job of at least stopping the bleeding. 957, a bit of a ray of hope at the moment, able to win out in these 1v1 trades. As he's fighting Amazing J, parallel convergence, not going to really net him much more than a shield, and the W is there to keep winning this trade for 957. Amazing J trying to turn it back around. Can't quite find the victory in the trade.
Has to be very cautious, though. The big thing for 957 is you have to suspect that Baimi will make a trip down here. In fact, here he comes. Yep,
there's the Voyage, makes his way in. Of course, still has the Banshee's Veil as the auto attacks are landing. There's a GLP 800 going off as he gets the taunt. Amazing J has to ult himself out as Mystic uses his ult, gets himself up there. But look at this, Aime just going to teleport onto the Baron 22 minutes in. And they get the jump on WE completely. There is no way they're getting here in time, and it's going to go down.
Aime just dominated WE on the map. And again, they throw the same punch every single time. They're high mobility, they're very scrappy, they can look for cheeky plays like that. They have great epic monster shred, especially with that Kog'Maw. WE just totally caught unawares.
Yeah, it's just outplayed completely. As it was only Baimi that was left on the bottom side of the map. I may just know exactly what they want. 6 seconds until this Dragon at the same time, and it's going to be their first Infernal. The rest of WE nowhere near this objective. Smite just used by Condi. That's going to go down immediately by Arcane Barrage helping.
We're closing in on a 10k gold deficit at around 23 minutes in this game.
Yeah. Complete turnaround from game number 1 here for Aime. Game number 2 was quite close for a lot of it. This is well and truly a domination. Spammy happy to tank up the turret, and the rest of Aime move themselves over. Jin Zhao on what should be the late game scaling Kog'Maw is well and truly in a good position at the moment. Living Artillery will land onto 957 as Amazing J will find a stun onto Xie under the turret. He's happy to tank, just buying some time against the Vlad. Star Surge comes in, doesn't find the stun onto anyone. And Mystic wants to clear out this wave, but the low range is starting to hurt the Sivir. Good chip damage onto this inhibitor turret.
But Aime have so many options. They can immediately just look for a rotation mid lane if they want to take another inner tower or continue to siege on this. Here comes the flank from Zero, though.
Yeah, looking for it. Gets it onto Jin Zhao. Pulverize comes down. Lots of damage from Mystic now as 957 gets into the backline. Baimi gets in. Star Surge is going to stun up Condi, but Zero still able to tank. Rampage comes in. Now look at that Voice of Light as it's a double kill now for Baimi. He's so tanky on the Dangarelian Soul, and they clean up WE.
Baimi is doing ridiculous damage. They're going to chase down Xie.
Yep. Celestial expansion just makes sure that Xie can't really do anything. Proto Belt, no damage. Tides of Blood, nothing. Baimi still so healthy and will close the gap onto this Vladimir.
This is actually very important, though. CA does go down, but he takes a lot of steam and a lot of momentum out of Aime's push. So yes, they get the team fight, but they don't break that inhib line. So still a small shred of light available for Team WE. But what a cool team fight. So they get on Jin Zhao. They've got the Kog'Maw. This is probably as good as it gets. He's able to reposition himself. They lock him down with the Shen, immediately turned out of the fight. But look at Baimi. He's literally just sitting in the middle of it, and they're getting destroyed by Aurelion Sol's passive.
And that Voice of Light onto 3 people as well. Kept him so safe, allowed them to create space between themselves and the Vladimir. Just beautiful. 6-0-2 now for Baimi, the secret weapon of Aime.
And what's scary is that Aime can threaten with this again. It completely caught Team WE off guard, which means that they're probably just going to have to ban it.
Yeah.
And that's losing a ban that's incredibly valuable on red side, because WE right now, blue side, has 100% victory rate other than that 2-0 outside of Vici and Snake.
It's going to mean once again that the Vladimir, 0% win rate in this matchup.
Vladimir is not having a great series.
No. There's a Voidless going to get the knock-up onto 957. Look at the damage out of this Titanic Hydra Rek'Sai. Just cleans up Amy there. But I feel like that was more of a, I guess, support assist that he got for that one. As Amazing J finds
mid.
Yeah, double stun onto Mystic and Zero. This base is just falling apart.
And look at the control Aurelion Sol has around these turrets. He is such a good sieging champion. You don't even need to prep that massive, I don't even know what it is, universe that collides down the, the mid lane. You could just walk up to the tower.
The gigantic Star Surge.
Is that what it's called, Star Surge?
That's the one. The guy that just gets really, really, really big. Big stun. We could call it big stun. Do you want to call it big stun? Ashia is going to get stunned up himself. A Voidless with his GA, happy to play aggressively as tower falls down towards the bottom, towards the mid lane. Amazing J saying, guys, come on, we just have to be killing turrets. His split pusher coming out.
How do you even get in there?
I don't know, man. Aurelion Sol is crazy, and he's got his Rylai's. I think he built it outright as well as a blasting wand. 8 stacks on his Dark Seal. I mean, there is not much bad news to talk about when it comes to Aime's mid laner for this game.
I mean, WE, the only thing that they can do is they just have to engage and hopefully blow someone up.
Well, right now, Xie is looking for what seems to be his Rylai's Crystal Scepter. He's 50 CS behind, 1, 2, and 0. The Vladimir nowhere near to being effective. Condi's trying to augment him by picking up this Abyssal Scepter, but 0, 2, and 2. The Nidalee's just found nothing all game.
And it's only going to get worse from here. WE, they have late game options if they can survive long enough to sit back, farm, get those item breakpoints. But again, it comes down to the execution of the team fight. The longer that these sustained engagements last, the stronger the Aurelion Sol composition will be. Yeah. He just has so much control, and if you just sit there and take those big orbs...
Look at him soar so majestically out of the base. It's beautiful.
Where was this in playoffs?
Well, I don't know. But they're looking to try and bring it out to get themselves into that first spot of the gauntlet run for the Worlds qualification. Means only one best of 5 will separate Aime from a shot at Worlds in that 3rd seed to join EDG and RNG on their road through. Amy heading himself over, looking to try and lock down 957 under his turret. He's very tanky. The Titanic Hydra and the Spirit Visage. Doesn't find the Star Surge, as this turret is what's going to be the focus from Aime. Look at that. He's just swimming around the air and killing someone.
Just going full Dory.
Yeah. It just looked like he was actually doing nothing, but the Celestial Expansion does so much work. They're able to create enough pressure to really open up this inner turret. But Aime don't commit to it. They're moving over, want to get this dragon up in 3 seconds. It's going to be their 2nd Infernal Drake. We'll take 2 water, 2 fire, please. And I'll lock it down easily.
More important is the fact that the Baron will be spawning in 10 seconds here. So they can very easily move this power of the double Infernal over into that Baron pit at about 28 minutes in this game, and with a very hefty 12k gold lead.
Just huge.
They'll shred through that.
Bamey also has 6 items now, if you think about it. One of them being a Dark Seal. 0 getting aggressed on Condi. Should get stunned as Amazing J does at least find the cow. Road gets himself on top. Arcane Barrage goes off as Jin Zhao just going to spit on the cow. In goes Bamey. Star Surge is huge but doesn't find anyone. What the heck? That Voice of Light did so much damage with 957 on the backline. So much work done as Xie picks up Road. Bamey's just underneath this turret trying to take down Condi, and the rest of Aime going nuts in the backline. Mystic, not even sure what quite happened to him as the Dragon was able to take him down. There's the knock up in the middle of the Shadow Dash. 957 relegated to getting stunned and destroyed by the Dragon. And Aime just a completely different force in games 2 and 3.
Yeah, this is incredible. This is one of the coolest compositions I've ever seen. It's never been run in the LPL. It's super cute, very kind of cheesy, and you have to think Team WE are going to take the Aurelion Sol off the board because there's nothing you could do. Bamey's doing ridiculous amounts of damage, and he just sits right on top of the Kog'Maw.
Yeah, and after 29 minutes, 30 minutes approximately for that victory for Aime, just incredible. Bamey, you see the smug grin on his face. He's like, yeah, that's right, my Aurelion Sol, that's what you want me in the mid lane for. And Athena better watch out, you know. They might just throw Bamey in every single time unless they can get permanent Aurelion Soul bans.
And you have to look at Team WE. They're like, we were not expecting that one. They had 0 options and answers for it. Priority picked the Vladimir and were heavily punished.
Yeah. Completely left field, but I mean, it wasn't just the Aurelion Soul that made that composition so good. They got Rek'Sai one more time, a Voidless, had a great performance. Amazing J back on the Echo at the same time. The bottom lane looked brilliant with the concussive blows plus by Arcane Barrage. They got a lot of pressure down early. And as we have a look at the highlights, just watch how Aime's composition just works from every angle.
And this is the snowball that really kicks it all off. And the reason why Aime are so brilliant calling this play is because before this, the Stand United has been used. So there is no Shin that's coming in to save the day. So Aime, knowing that they have the numbers advantage, just steamroll down bottom. And again, Kog'Maw goes down in this fight. Like the fact that you
this is the best possible scenario, right?
You hyper carry before anything goes down, but Bamey just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
And that Voice of Light was so huge towards the end of this particular fight. Xie then closed in on by 4 members of Aime. And it's just on every single turn.
And this is, again, one of the coolest things about Aime. They have such a refined and defined play style and identity. They know exactly what they're good at. They know exactly how to snowball with it. High mobility compositions that just have really scrappy, skirmishy fights. So things like you said, bringing up the fact that it's in tandem with the Rek'Sai, that it's with that Aurelion Soul, that they have so much mobility to get around the map, and then just having that late game insurance and policy in the Kog'Maw sitting right on top of it. It's great.
Not to mention the fact that the Kog'Maw is so incredibly good at stacking up the stuns as well from the concussive blows. Ridiculous out of Aime, and we'll see whether they can close out the series next up against WE or whether WE can fight back. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we'll be back with game number 4.